Shalom, everyone.
What's good? What's good?
This is the Q2A Friday discussions, Family Feud, 50 Shades of Negro. You all are wondering, wow, what a enticing title. Well, today, family, we're about to talk about colorism and how it's affected you and how it's affected us relating to the diaspora and the continent. And I'm with um, my brother Chester, or as we affectionately call him, Big Red, which is kind of ironic that we're talking about colorism.
It's kind of true.
How are you doing today, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. So let me get right into it. Well, where do you invite people? So, family, we're gonna invite everyone on, and we're gonna talk about colorism. So,
Yeah, it's a we picked one of the more interesting sticky topics that our culture has it's been forced upon our culture. It's been a very disgusting sense of self-preservation, and that's really what it is. It's just like a self-preservation, a self-edifying type of deal to try to basically esteem oneself above another, to be like, well, at least I'm not this type of Negro.
yep, that's exactly what it is. It's like we're trying to find divisions within one another, and then we all lose because we're all we're all pretty much viewed the same, but maybe they'll give some trinkets to you because they like you, or
Yeah.
maybe because you give off a certain image because of your complexion, which I don't know, they've completely done a number on us, saying the nonsense about light skinned men being more sensitive and more amenable, and dark skinned men being angry. And I mean, I could just think of just one instance, well, just many instances, but just the whole colorism thing with the person who may have a little bit of Indian in them, so their hair is good, things like that.
The fact that good hair, that's another, oh my goodness. I mean, I go there. That it's really, it's basically the rub off of racism on our culture and on our people, because that's essentially the lanes that they used to divide us into. They used to have the little light skinned Negroes in the house doing stuff because they were closer looking to white, and also most of the time, some of the lighter skinned ones came from Massa, creeping in the little slave house, getting with slave women. So that was them having more of their kin and people that look more amenable to them, because the whole thing of kind of like what Brother Garth just said, the light skins were more soft. That was actually seen by white folks as light skins were more, oh, they're closer looking to us, so they're less dangerous. And then the dark skins are, oh, they're the dangerous ones, and we gotta, they're animalistic and all this other stupid stuff that they used to put in our head. A lot of our preconceived notions and hangups really come from racism and the projection of the captors on us for the nonsense that was in their head that they've put into us, that we've let fester in our culture for just honestly far too long. Far too long. Like, the colorism is just ridiculous at this point.
Yep, and I mean, it's funny. We were like, "Oh, what topics should we pick?" And I was like, "Oh, let's just pick something that." I guess I picked something personally that triggers me, because I know that to hair, like when you're a child, to not go outside too much, or else you're gonna get too dark from your own family or from your own people within your family, and it's just and then there's instances like recently where I'd be like in chatting with like a family. I was amongst my family in Atlanta like last year, I remember. And then I remember I was meeting my cousin's fiance, right? And we were all just talking, and I guess she was based down southern, and then you call her I guess yellow, or a red
Oh,
bone, a red bone or whatever. But I remember I was remember we were just speaking and I was just, talking about, yeah, so I'm black. And then she's like, well, no, you're not black. You're more of a like brown mocha,
Oh my god.
you know, some like Crayola crayon that they've created.
That's it. That's it. That's the same type of stuff. I remember being in high school and girl, I wasn't even really trying to talk to her nothing. Like it was just a totally unsolicited response. And all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, you look like the type of dude to get with a white girl, but I don't like men with pink pink. I don't like pink men."
Oh man.
The old Pac-Man thing, and then like you say, it's the constant, always the constant memes because you light skin. They always got to say it like you soft, like oh, they have the ones with the Prince memes where light skin, light skin Negroes do this, and it's always Prince doing some questionable sus stuff, and
Or
it's always
Drake.
or Drake, yeah, yeah, exactly. They always want to pick, them doing some old questionable, weird sussy stuff and then say, oh yeah, light skinned dudes be like this. And so, they always want to like challenge your masculinity because you just light skinned, or your people just assume that, you're just weaker because you light skinned, which is the most asinine thing in the world. It's just basically us holding on to racist tropes and not letting it go and acting like it's cute when it's really not. Like it's stupid. Like you shouldn't be looking down on nobody. Like no dude should feel bad because he's dark and then somebody call him tar baby or oh yo you too black or all the little blue black. I used to call them blue black and all these other
Black tar baby.
yeah blue black tar baby and all this other weird crap that jokers be saying about stuff, and it's like you're adopting slave master mindset, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're just literally projecting whatever hate that they've instilled on us. And then you talk about it's funny that you said like I remember unsolicited again, where I remember I was at work and this one chick was like, oh Garth, you're too dark for me. Granted she's darker than me. She was like, I guess a little bit a couple shades away from Wesley Snipes, and she was like, you're too dark for me, Garth. I'm like, okay, I never asked you, but I'm not interested. But you just really understand like this whole projection of, you know, white is right, and if your hair is straight, then it's good hair. It's all been a ploy to just divide us and continue the status quo of, allowing enough people in their system to have this, I guess, this aesthetic that we've progressed, which we haven't.
No, we haven't. It's still alive and very much well today. I mean, I remember I worked at a hospital. It's not really like a hospital. It's kind of like a super clinic here. They actually do have some surgery rooms and stuff, but it's really like a big super clinic. And they had, there was what I think it was two black doctors that were on staff. And when I tell you that they never talked to me, they will walk down and act like I did not exist. They would turn their head up. They would look the other way. I mean, it was like, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to see a black doctor. Man, them jokers ignored me. But when a white woman came walking down the hallways, oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Every time I see them, the only time I see them stop is if there was a white lady nearby for them to sit down and have a conversation with, or if they want to go and have a conversation with one of them white doctors, they come in and they had that conversation there. But
Yeah,
me, nah.
right. It's just like, I've experienced that too, but I mean, it was worse because I was working in the medical field and I was doing like, I was at the time I was doing authorizations for like radiology and things of that nature and I was amongst women mostly. And then the whole, just working in that dynamic and you being one of the few men, you just there's just like a microscope on you, for lack of a better term, and then they just say all these inappropriate things, and you just, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
have to take it. I mean, unless you want
Mm-hmm.
unless you want to lose your job. And now that we have our guest, Orange Man, and brother Mike, how you guys doing this morning?
Go ahead, bro, Mike. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yep.
you.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Yep. We hear
We hear you.
you.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Orange
Like,
man coming through. What you gonna do? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Orange. Orange.
yo, put me up in the headphones. Put me up in the headphones.
Orange Bang the exact.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Colorism done gone on the wrong path.
Exactly. The car did make a big point. He was like, yeah, big
Was
red
it
is
red?
kind of
Red.
a form of colorism.
Red, pink, orange, or brown. Don't make me laugh. Colorism's gone down the wrong path. Oh my goodness. Yep. All right. Shalom, everyone.
What's good? Dr. Mike, are you there?
Oh yeah. I just walked in. I was in the kitchen cooking.
Switch out stories about colorism. I know Good Carrot's got plenty.
Mike,
Colorism. Mhm.
Before I go in, no, Mike. You need to talk about size 11s.
The stacks.
Uh,
The stack shoes.
Talk about them
no.
size 11s.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a moment.
But yeah, man, a lot of that stuff, it's been heavy projection, and unfortunately, our people run with it, and it's one of those things that some folks laugh about, but it's really like one of them like little sticky matters underneath it all. Because I can always tell that some folks be bothered by it, when they bring these things up, and I ain't gonna lie, it's annoying. It's annoying, to see that kind of stuff, and it's like, dang, I ain't nothing. You see these stupid little memes, with Prince and some just very just compromising, very rainbow position, and and then it's like you have.
Red is the only one that can put that stuff together like that. He's the only one that can put it up. He's the only one that can do it. I got to sit down. I got to think about that.
So Mike, please tell us the story. When we had this colorism, look, it's not that this conversation was just out of the blue. No, we had this conversation about 2-3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And we're growing up in childhood. I'm lighter than my brother. And I'm a shade lighter than my dad. I'm about a shade darker than my mom. My brother's about the same complexion as my dad. He's about Mike's complexion. If you see Mike in real life, and they would make fun of me like, oh, you're light, and I wasn't really all that light. There was just folks that had a little bit darker complexion and a little bit lighter complexion. There are folks in our community, in our family. I mean, what would we call them? Lighty, right? Lighty, we call them Casper.
Yellow man.
I mean, Casper was always like, dang, you Casper white,
Light bright.
I didn't say Casper. I mean, light bright yellow man. I remember my one cousin. Literally, my other two cousins are a little bit darker than him, and he's probably a little bit. I think he's probably like Bro Red's complexion, and they used to call him Yellow Man. And I mean, he like used to cry about it. And I mean, my aunt, who was darker skinned, used to like lambast us about him not being different from us, and that he's a part of the family, and that there's different complexions within the family, and you have to respect that. I remember that.
No, one thing I would say about the darker you are, man, please.
Come on, Mike.
See, let me
pose that question or pose that story, Mike. Come on.
I had a mishap. I'm always on that, the healthy stuff to be taken. And I blame it on hydroxide. I do. Because before I start messing with the the hydroxide, I use that stuff for everything. Everything. And so my mother was like, Mike, what's wrong with your skin? I said, nothing. For me, I mean, I did not realize the gradual steps it takes. She said, boy, you look like you're getting white. Because I used to be known as Perry 11. If anybody that know how the color code for cabling, and if you look up what is Perry 11 on the cable spectrum, what do Perry 11 represent? What colors?
That's the brown.
No, it's blue black.
Oh,
I thought he was talking about some like Jordans, patent leathers. As he said, he call him size 11.
Those are the only 11s I know.
He is Chicago. I'm surprised they didn't call you Space Jams 11.
No, it was pear. You think I'm talking about shoes, but no, like red. There's a color configuration for 568B. There's a color configuration that you has to follow in order for those colors to line up on the other end. And so, if you look up pair 11 for communication cabling, you're going to see blue, black. That's going to be the color pairs that you need to have together for pair 11. And hold on for a moment.
Cables go by pairs, so there's two of them. So there's two of each. Some pairs would be like light blue, dark red, light blue, dark orange, light white, I'm saying, with a stripe in it. And the pair he's talking about
exactly.
I was thinking about A, he's talking about B.
Yeah, but I'm saying
I'm gonna have to what you had said, but go ahead and tell this.
So I mean, I'm working at the phone company. I mean, I would go to work with a black T-shirt on. They gonna tell me I should not be coming to work with no shirt on. I'm like, yeah, y'all Negroes got jokes. And that's I mean, I was dark. I was, man, please. You think I just I mean, man, let me see. If I smile, you think my teeth were real white? I was just, my eyes was like they were just glowing white. I'm serious. But with that, the darker you are, the worse you got treated. And that's one thing I did notice growing up in the projects. There was other, dark-skinned kids around, probably wasn't dark as me, but I noticed that they got dealt with the hardest from our own people. Period. We got dealt with the hardest because this is what the system called for them to do. You was always the joke. You was always the joke of being that very dark-skinned person. Whether you're a dark-skinned woman or a dark-skinned boy, our own people did that. And they looked down on very dark-skinned people. I mean, here in the United States. And I experienced. I got used to it, brother. I mean, Perry 11. Yeah, all right, cool. I knew it's blue, black. Keep it moving, But it didn't stop me. It didn't. I mean, I maintained a confidence about my skin color. And you want to talk about a Negro getting upset? I got upset when I realized, and I did further research, and that's when they said, no, this hydroxide will lighten up your skin. Oh, you talk about a Negro upset. I was that Negro. I'm just coming back into my color. I'm just coming back.
So Mike, you used to look like Serena Williams and Sammy Sosa.
Wait a minute now. You going too far now.
Came out there looking like he was using cake soap.
He said he got rid of the blue contact lenses.
Man,
Oh my goodness.
I seen that now, and I was not walking around here looking like a black ghost. That's one thing I was not doing.
So you
I
weren't
did
trying
not.
to be the man version of white chicks. All right, we got
No.
But that actually illustrates a really bad point that shows in our culture, because especially in like the islands, like where Sammy Sosa is from with the DR, and that's where a lot of Haitians too are from, and Haitians have that issue a lot. I was married into a Haitian family, and they greatly favored white people, and they lightness and light skinnedness. I hate to think about the fact that she probably only got with me because I was light skinned.
Oh dear.
Man, please, that was it. That was what the sisters was doing. If you was a dark skinned woman, they wanted a light skinned man.
That was the 90s, yes sir. That's how
Yes. I mean, I ran up on one sister. She wanted somebody Spanish or something, because she said she wanted a child with good hair.
Good hair. Oh my goodness. I heard that. So, you have a baby, you have a cute complexion and good hair. Nah, get away from me. That's weird.
Right. And I'm like, but you can see how they really got inside our heads. We didn't want to deal with our own selves or anyone that looked like ourselves or had the hair that we had. Who told you your hair was bad?
Exactly. Exactly. Why is that hair considered good? I mean, it's
Right.
it has all sorts of disadvantages to our hair. We can wash our hair every other day and they'll still be good. They gotta wash theirs almost every day or else they'll start smelling.
Smelling, they're gonna have bugs in it.
That's true. That's true.
They're gonna have bugs in it. I mean, everything that we started to look down on, and once we started waking up and thinking, we're like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, I can go into the sun. You can't. Now you're starting to see, wait a minute, and there. Oh, you I get fed from the sun. I get vitamin D from the sun.
Exactly.
Now, when you sit back and you add all this stuff up, why is everything going towards these particular people? Everything is in their ballpark. And we didn't even know it. We didn't even know it. We trying to get them here and go ahead and taking doing the Nigerians, I found, are the biggest ones at doing that fading their skin.
The bleaching.
So let me tell you something about that. But when they start to age, it shows. And it comes back on real bad.
They look like a wrinkled up piece of paper, huh?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what they look like. It's this skin. Not skinless. It's a hairless cat.
They got Chihuahua skin. They got Chihuahua
There
skin.
you go.
Man,
That's what they look like.
Look like Senator Palpatine.
Yes. And I'm like, are you? I mean, but they're doing it at that time when they thinking they're young, they thinking they're too dark. Because now, and it's sad because they just feeding into it.
Mm-hmm.
African Americans are coming off of that nonsense. Say, hey, we love our skin.
Mm-hmm.
But they going in on. I mean, they making videos, them getting in a tub of this stuff, and I call it acid.
That's what it is.
And then they come out, right, and they just rinsing themselves, and you literally seeing their skin come off.
Mm-hmm. That's terrible.
Then they'll throw the makeup on and all that stuff, and step out there in front. They want the essence of a dark-skinned woman features, but don't want that color.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have seen. But they do not want that color. Because now, looking at that color, now all of them trying to get that color now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Because that comes from that
Bed,
culture.
injections. They're even doing
Yeah.
melanin injections, like that one German woman that
That
thought that,
German lady.
that
Oh
she tried to
yeah.
call herself black.
You know what?
She was pair 11, and she was proud of it, Mike.
No, she's not the original Perry 11. She's a
No,
she's a she's
no.
a she's a copycat.
Not the OG, not the OG pair 11s.
Hey, she's an 11-inch.
11-inch.
With an asterisk.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? It's his brother. He has a YouTube channel, and well, I think he's a brother, but truthfully, when I look at him, I said there's something odd about this man. But he do not care. He talking about he be talking against slavery. He talking no. Black people need to understand that white people need to be empowered. I forgot this guy's name, man, but he's out there. He
Tommy Sotomayor.
look like he had some hair transplant or something.
No, it's not Sotomayor. Sotomayor is kind of Cooney. So
No, this guy here. Let me see. Because he was talking about what's his name? The brother. That was on his neck. What's the brother's name? The police was on his neck.
Alton. Alton Jones. Oh no. George Floyd. George Floyd.
Yeah.
Floyd. He spoke against that. He spoke against George Floyd, and he had the black community up in arms. I just wish I knew that man's name, but he do not look right. And I'm serious. When they was talking about injection, he looked like he been getting injection, but he come off as if he's black. But he if you look, he looks odd.
Sean King.
No, Sean King went with he was for George Floyd. Sean King is actually white dude pretending to be light skinned. He's actually a light skinned dude, a white dude trying to pretend to be light skinned. Like what's her name? Gozelle.
Rachel
Dolezal. Right.
Dolezal,
She was over
yeah.
the whole NAACP. It was a whole Ashkenaz lady. Wasn't even nowhere near Hebrew.
What was she trying to say? She said, "Look, it's the spirit of a person.
Yes.
I feel like I'm black. I don't need to worry about those curses when I go home because everything's fine where I'm at."
And she white with freckles and that curly hair. That's it.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, but you know what? It's a beautiful thing that we starting to accept ourselves and fighting against stuff that we've been fighting against for hundreds of years. And in these very few years, we've been hitting it hard. We've been hitting it hard. We've been like, no, I'm black and so on. So the only thing I would say that still is something that we have to, well, not necessarily we. Well, I would say we. It's the sisters. It seems like they still trying to get over this complex of the world thinking them as ugly.
No, because it's the system. Look at how the system presents things. Look at how whenever, even in because see, what we don't understand is a lot of these, we've been brainwashed by TV. And when TV really started hitting in our homes and stuff, that's when this nonsense started going into overdrive. Because we would always see, the black women in there with white women hairstyles. They would always favor light-skinned women, lighter-skinned women, and most of all the other movies were always the main love attraction, the main woman, was always some light-skinned woman. I mean, look at all the early 90s movies. Who was a girlfriend in all the movies you saw? It was always the light skin. That was always the most desirable one. And the one that they was just getting, just doing something with was always the dark-skinned woman. The dark-skinned woman was always shown as as just like, the slutty one or the one that just goes to the set,
always.
Always she was a stripper in the strip club or the street corner woman or any kind of stuff like that. That's how they portrayed it. Well, they portrayed the men. The dark-skinned one was always angry and violent, and he was always stupid, and he was a gangster and all that. Whereas the light-skinned brother was always the soft, tender dude, the one who was going to college would get shot.
They tried their best to keep the white. They tried their best to keep that white persona as king, even within our communities.
Exactly. They keep showing. I mean, even with the women overseas, and that's why a lot of like African women do that nonsense with that makeup, and lighten their face up and stuff, because they feel like that's the beauty standard that's being proposed. Even China, they had a commercial where there was a black man. He was in the Chinese lady house fixing her washing machine, and she stuffed him in the washing machine and used this soap powder. It was a commercial for cleaning powder. And she put the cleaning powder in, and then he come out looking like a Chinese man. Saying the powder is so good, it'll wash the black off the skin of an African.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. And I think the government, I think it was Ghana, and Ghana called them out on that, and they took that thing down.
Mm-hmm.
But they bold with that stuff. I mean, but now, who now? What country is calling black men to come over to marry their Asian daughters now? Japan.
Yeah, they're. It's not that they're calling black men. They're just opening it up for foreigners to come in because their birth rates are just so low. So they're even like trying.
And
to
who you think got the strongest? Who you think had the strongest? Matter of fact, who you think got life? Ain't no good. Well, we say black men. Hey, we know there's life in these people. It's life. Did not Esau give his seed over to the Horites to lengthen their life? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
He gave his daughters away. And took some of their daughters.
Yeah. And in so many words, he himself, by himself, gave them life.
Mm-hmm. That's why the Most High was
furious. Yeah.
They would have died off.
And once we start to realize who we are and the strength that we have within ourselves, oh man, good gracious almighty. You'd be happy to walk in that sun. You'd be like, no, I'm darker than you. We were, it's now we coming to understand the depth of our own skin and what protection it serves. And you got everybody, you got white people out here trying to be copper. Yeah, shoot, man, please.
Tanning beds in the gym.
What you say, bro?
Go sit up under them tanning beds and gyms and spas.
That's all
just
they
to get
do
darker.
Here in Jersey. That's all they do here in Jersey.
So, in Trump instance, he don't want to say he coming off as copper. He go get burnt orange.
They can spray tan.
Yeah.
They try to put what we get naturally in the bottle. I mean, that's essentially what it is. They did a test with SPF under a thermal light, and basically, when they put on SPF, it makes them look like black people. Because when you look under the thermal light with black folks, you'll see the melanin in our skin show up. When white folks they look clear. But when they put on the SPF, they get melanin features. It basically puts like a melanin layer on their skin. So that's essentially what they're doing, is they're imitating our melanin when they put this SPF and all that stuff on there to protect their skin.
Because
I be laughing at black people when I see them put that stuff on. I like, you putting them on black, huh? Yeah.
But they don't know any better, because you got to remember, they always are said it's science, right? And they're thinking, oh, it's inclusive, so I have to do what they're doing because, if not, I just feel out of place because I don't have to worry about it. And really, we don't have to worry about it. Our instances of skin cancer, generally speaking, is a whole lot lower. It happens, it does, but generally speaking, it's a whole lot lower. And what that shows is, look, your destruction is perfected because you're doing needless things that then what creates the negative view of your most high given features. So as long as you can feel inadequate, then they've won.
Facts. It's true. And that's exactly what they want, because when they raise you to hate yourself, you're more open to take on them and their culture. Because even the colorism part goes even deeper to how, certain folks act and treat each other. We'll look at certain dark-skinned folks and look down on them and stuff like that. Or they'll, you have dark-skinned folks that look down on light-skinned folks because of their issues and stuff that they've done. And that's their goal is accomplished at that point, because they want to keep us divided. Because if we stay divided, especially over stupid stuff that's inherent that we should be celebrating amongst each other, then there's no hope for us to come together and work together, because it's always going to be like, oh, this light skin this and this dark skin that, and it's all this stupid mess that come in, and they fed it to us from the people that they've been, basically their puppets that they've been using, their little clowns. Because I know a lot of the rappers, because one of the sisters said something, and I agree with her, because a lot of the rappers, especially in the 80s and 90s, was always on this, oh, I want a light-skinned girl. She got to be light, like this, like that. The old rap videos and even old videos, period, you used to always see beautiful dark-skinned women in the videos. Then as it started progressing, man, they got these, basically, they ain't even black women in the videos no more. It's just all these these white women and these little Kim Kardashian, whatever they is, Arab/Persian, looking chicks and stuff that they be throwing in there with all these BBLs and all this fake stuff to look like a black woman that black women have naturally. Like this has been fed from. I remember when I was in middle school, dudes used to always be light skinned girl, light skinned girl, light skinned girl, and I would be like, what are you talking about? This girl's beautiful. Even though she's dark skinned, like they know that makes her even more beautiful. Like, what did you want? Like, oh no, I like a light bright. I like a light. No, like they get that crap from TV and from the movie, from the
exactly. Exactly. You ain't lying. I mean, that industry. Oh, and please. And if the Gentile had some hips and everything, oh yeah, she was in the video.
Oh my goodness gracious.
She was in there. She was in the video.
And then she was the best thing ever. Like no black woman ever had hips before. It's got a little bit of something, but most of it she bought. Like they don't even understand. Like it's anytime a white woman got a slight set of hips, she gets exalted, and I'm like, our women are naturally born with it, but because you're taught to look down upon your own women, even when brothers will say like, oh, a dark skinned woman, they more angry.
Yeah, all those tropes. And someone in the chat mentions mama and daddy had thin lips, but somehow I have full lips. I remember being made fun of for my lips being full. People used to say I had such big lips, but I mean, now I understand they were just like admiring it because I mean they couldn't understand it, or it was just like there was jealousy or something. I had no clue.
Yeah, it was jealousy. I mean, with deep down inside, yes, the jealousy, and then they can sit up, they can sit up here and say, how they wish that and wish this and everything, but deep down inside, when they're in their quiet places, they was wishing that they had the lips black women had, and then they was going, out here secretly going getting injection and stuff. Things started to change. They started to see, and they started, and it come matter of fact, they did a research. There was this research they did years ago. They did it. They excluded black men, but they said that on the top 10 bucket list, a white man and a white woman. Do you know? To sleep with a black man and to sleep with a black woman was on their bucket list. The 10 out of the 10, it was that. Why? You hate everything about black people, but this is what they're saying that what they hate about us. Excuse me, but at the same time, wants to be of us, want a portion of us, and then be hated at the same time? Please. And then you have these. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is that what Paul Mooney said? Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. Paul Mooney was before his time, man. He wrote a lot of them jokes for Richard Pryor and stuff. And Paul Mooney, he used to talk about that a lot. About how we're the most influential, the most imitated, at the same time, the most hated.
The most hated. But and that's Sean, the thing that kind of blows me away. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
See Brother Sean come up. How you doing, bro? What's your input on the conversation?
Very interesting conversation. Just want to say thank you guys for everything that you do. Really appreciate it. keep up the kingdom work. It's good to see family coming together to promote family unity and to encourage us to do the right things by Yahuwah.
Yeah, I got you on that, bro. I got you on that.
Because this is a poison that has been. It's really a poison that's been placed in us. It's from the projection. And for those who don't know, projection is when this person feels something personally, but they push that on you. They're projecting onto us their personal feelings, which is really just a lie. Because it's just like what Unc said earlier. They truly be really going after us. They really be secretly low-key desiring us and liking us. This is why the women back in the day in the 90s, they would talk about, oh, she got a big butt. Ew. That's why Mix-a-Lot made the song that he made, because black women was always called fat, but just being curvy and you know, just nice shapes. And now, just like the one sister said in the chat earlier, they going out here spending, dropping bank. I mean, these doctors making money filling these women up with injections in their posterior and putting them old saline bags in their chest to get them up and sucking the fat out of their stomach to make them get that natural curvage that they don't have genetically. Like, and even so sadly to the point where our women that's already have it is going to get the same stuff too. Like they are this self on the people, and they use these TV shows and stuff where people think like this is the norm. Like a lot of women will look at social media and see all these popular chicks with BBLs and be like, "Oh, this is what men like." No, that's what this algorithm is pushing. These rappers and all that, they run with that kind of trash because they're paid clowns. That's what they're paid to do. They're gonna show forth this nonsense to make people think that this is the norm. This is why they were pushing that, oh, light skinned girl, and you go into videos and all they got are these ambiguously black or just straight up white women running around in their videos. It's to show you that you're not enough and to show and put these things in your head. So these are the things that we see. So now you have our women emulating this, and you have even our men on the low key scale too in some other place. Look at Sammy Sosa. Like my uncle was talking about earlier. I mean, if that only show of self-hate, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that is just pathetic, honestly. It's a sad sight to see. I remember literally what I don't know, when did he do that? It had to have been like maybe like early 2010s, and I remember he was one of the first people I seen do that. Vibes Cartel, all of them bleaching their skin and pushing this agenda to bleach your skin, and then I see people lighter, and then if you see Beyonce now, she looks like a whole white woman, and now she's doing country music, wearing blonde wigs, and I mean, it's just like it's crazy. It's just being pushed, and you know.
Hey, this is their last ditch effort. They got to push it. Hey, we are losing. We are losing. Well, I can't say pigmentation because they don't have a pigmentation. They just losing the battle. They are literally losing, and they scared.
Well, I'll say this: it all starts at home, right? It starts at home, but then it's also taught in the education system, right?
Yeah.
So everything we see, think back to our childhood. Every image that we see of beauty does not look like you.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts there, and then we internalize it and teach it to our children unintentionally, but we do teach it to our children, and so it feeds on itself, one generation to the next generation to the next generation. I remember growing up with my aunts and uncles. How many people? I know you guys remember like the straightening combs.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Burnt hair smell in the house all day, every day, especially on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because our women and were straightening their hair.
Mm-hmm.
Right. At one point, we used to wear afros. I had cornrows as a little cornrows and plaits as a child. But as you get older and then you join the workforce, so then you have to do this quote unquote professional image.
Exactly.
The professional image is shortcut, no facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that way for what? 4 decades? Which they just recently changed that.
Yeah.
Which now you can quote unquote wear your natural hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's generational. I think it's going to take time and patience for us to come out of that mindset. But we just have to, I think we have to be patient with each other. And when we see our brothers and sisters out there, showing their natural features, we should encourage it, especially encourage it with the younger generation.
Exactly.
Because it's with them that it is when the change will actually be made. So they'll teach it to their children, and then the next generation and the next generation. I think we just should encourage it.
Yeah. I will say that these younger girls are encouraged more, and younger boys are encouraged more to wear their natural hair. And I do like that they wear their hair out natural more now. So they still have some that do the color and all that stuff, and put the white folks' hair in their head with the wigs and stuff. But a lot more acceptance for natural hair is here. Because I did the same thing you did, Brother Sean, where when I came out of high school, I'm like, okay, I'm going into the professional realm. I had a big old afro, and I'm like, oh, gotta cut my hair, keep my beard trimmed to look professional. Then after I woke up, I said, man, forget all that. Grew my locks out, got my beard out. I'm like, nope, I'm not changing myself for white people's sensibilities no more. I'm gonna grow my hair how I want to grow.
I remember what Bro Sean said is so true, because even at a young age, my dad wouldn't let me grow my hair out too long, or they said, oh, your hair is looking too crazy or wild and all this other stuff. So yes, we are taught it. And then when you do grow up, you look at all these different shows like the Disney Channel, Boy Meets World. You see Topanga, and you see Sean's girlfriend, but she's not as highlighted. I'm just trying to think of shows. Boy Meets World is one of the first ones. I could. It's just it's in your face, and it's so subconscious sometimes that you can't even put two and two together.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. And the fact that you mentioned Boy Meets World is a good point, because you're right. Sean did have a dark skinned, she was pretty black girlfriend, but she showed up very rarely. They very, very rarely brought her out. I mean, it was even in the TV shows. Remember when in Fresh Prince, when Aunt Viv first came out, she was dark skinned and pretty, and then next thing they swapped her out for a light skinned woman.
Oh yeah,
they did.
That was the biggest example of colorism in the 1990s.
It really was.
It was like, dang, they got rid of dark-skinned Aunt Viv and put light-skinned Aunt Viv. And,
they did the Family Matters too in the later episode. In the last season, they replaced the mom with a light-skinned woman.
They replaced Little Richie too. Remember, Little Richie was dark, and then he became light. Little Richie.
He went from Wesley Snipes to the Barge. They straight up changed it up.
But this is the history of what we have been through. We've seen a lot of changes. We've seen a lot of changes. From afros to the Jerry curl. And so, we change up. And then now, nowadays, it's like people getting back to their natural style. And I view that I view that like a sense of awakening and being happy within your skin. That's how I see that.
It's true. And I agree too. Another thing that Brother Sean said that I try to do a lot too is whenever I see a sister rocking her natural hair, I encourage it. Like if I see it on the Instagram post and she rocking the natural, yeah, you look not going, some dudes be going in the simp mode. just say, hey, since you look nice, the hair looks nice on you. To give you that positive reinforcement that, hey, because it is one thing that has come real heavy against the sisters, and it's been like a silent thing because it's not overtly done so much. It's just in the images and all the things that they show. Like if a black woman comes into a Miss America competition, she's usually light skinned. And if they have a dark skinned woman come in, she's the most masculine, bald headed one that they can find. They get like a Grace Jones woman or something like that. We're like, oh, this is beautiful. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that's the only dark-skinned woman you can find? This bald head, masculine-looking woman? Like, there's plenty of beautiful, extremely lovely women with full heads of natural hair. And y'all choose the bald. Like, they do this stuff on purpose. They try to push these images like this is the only image of a black woman that looks like this, a one that looks like a man. You know, they find the most androgynous looking black woman and throw her up there as a model. And you same thing with the black men. You know, they'll do it and they put it. It's Tyler Perry has been the main one who does this, and that's the one in our generation. It's just some of the reason why I hated him, because I noticed the pattern early when he was doing his skits before he even started doing movies. It was always a light-skinned dude to come to the rescue of some crazy black woman who's getting abused by some angry dark-skinned man. He's always
Shamar Moore to the rescue, bro. Red Shamar Moore to the rescue.
Exactly. And you got the one dark-skinned brother from NYPD Blue always causing problems.
Yeah. But it would appear that he knew the system and he knew how to work it. You know, I didn't agree with it. I did not agree with it at all, because you feed into the system. You fed into it. You became part of it. He got and don't get me wrong. The brother, what he started off was he got us by laughter, and he got us by thinking. Black men, black women, you all need to make up, accept your wrong, and move on. But then he gradually started moving towards Red. How do you do that, Red, again?
Rainbow proclivities.
There you go. And that's what he did. And I mean, he went in hard on some of that stuff. You look at some of his shows, man, that stuff is, I be like, man, I can't get down this way. This dude, he just went in graphic. And so, I mean, how our people in that industry can follow suit. That's one thing I don't, too much care for. I mean, you can call it and say that's the industry. No, well, sometimes you don't need to be in it then.
That's right.
And it's just that simple. It's, you don't need to be in it. And when it came down to I know you was talking about our sisters, how they betrayed our dark-skinned sisters, rather. I would say from brown to dark skin. They was always betrayed in a very negative way. So the negativity took its toll on our sisters in reality. So a lot of them start feeling or thinking that way because this is what the world pushed out. And many of us, and a lot of us, what we seen that was portrayed in TV, we bought that to reality. We did with the way we treated our sisters. Yep. And now they have this issue of black men not respecting them, which is true. There's some truth to it. But at the same time, there was some damage that was self-inflicted. There was some self-inflicted damages. There was.
And even Sister Shar said, I mean, that's another big one. The Martin show with Pam and Gina, and Pam was always portrayed as angry and aggressive and cantankerous.
Question, family. Is this a result of us losing our culture?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
So if you lose your culture,
you lose a part of you.
Exactly.
You lose a part of you. You lose self-worth.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, brother, and the sad thing about it, that's also over here. The culture, bro. I'm gonna say this, brother. A lot of these sisters here have 3 to 4 boyfriends. 3 to 4. One pays the light bill, one pays the rent, The other one pays the water bill. That's like a norm. Yes, that culture is what we need in order for us to revive ourselves. Because this is out of pocket, it's out of hand. When the Most High said that we will be trampled, I never imagined that I would hear people say these things. That's a trampling.
They used to say it all the time for fun, though, and like under the funny in the 90s. Because Sister Shar was really right with that Martin thing, because Martin used to always make dark skin jokes against Pam on the sly. Always made the jokes. Like she was just the ugly, unattractive one. But honestly, I always thought Pam was more, was flyer than Gina. That was just me. I always thought she was.
Yeah, because Pam will always come back on him. I think that was the thing I seen about Pam. She would always come back up on him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They always portrayed, it was always this weirdo portrayal in the 90s that way. Even, when they had it with the rappers and stuff like that. The very rarely did you see the light-skinned rappers being the hard gangster ones. It was always like, he was a lover boy or the party guy or, this and that. Like LL Cool J, he wasn't really like the thug out there. He was the lover boy. They gave everybody a niche to put themselves in with their programming instead of allowing you just to be who you are. And they gave you these little things like, if you were dark skinned, you had to go down to, I'm either New Jack City or I'm
gonna throw one on you. I'm gonna throw one on you, Red. Bobby Brown.
Man, come on.
Yeah, man. They made him out.
R&B was love until the bad boy came in with the dark skin. He's the bad boy of R&B.
Bad boy. And and you know what, man? I think the world, and I blame the world for them making so many different opinions about his family life. And I think that's caused a lot of a lot of the problem. You had outside people talking this and talking that, and people believe what the media pushed out there, and things of that nature. So they went after Bobby. They did. They went after him. Don't get me wrong. I ain't like Bobby he was a saint, but that dark skin.
No different. Yeah,
no difference.
Led Zeppelin, Kiss, and when you hear about the stuff that these rockers was doing, they was on everything. Number one, all the drugs under the sun. They used to wreck hotel lobbies and all this stuff. But he was like you said, he was a little darker skinned, so they had to come after him and make him look like the bad guy. They do that all the time. The Ray Rice situation. He's the big bad dark skinned black man, coming at this. But when the white dude threw his black girlfriend through the TV and put that woman in the hospital, nobody talked about that. Nobody was talking about that.
Or when what's his face, Dana White beat on his wife. That just went under the rug. No one really, ESPN wasn't going on and on about it or replaying footage and things of that nature. So it's all by design and contrived.
So would you also say this is all part of our punishment for disobedience?
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, we have to look in the mirror and look at ourselves. Not absolving the other nations. I'm not absolving the other nations of the things that they do, right?
Yeah.
But we shoulder a good majority of the blame for where we are.
That's an excellent point, because one of the key things that the Messiah, the Most High, and the Messiah by extension, their signature move is dissension. To cause dissension amongst the people. When the Tower of Babel was going up, what did he do? Cause dissension, separate the languages. When there was a great number of the Amorite Nephilim coming against our forebears, the patriarchs, 12 patriarchs, Yehuda, Benjamin, all of them. Basically, he caused dissension in their camps and made them fight against each other while our folks would slip by. Every time, one of our enemies came up with Gideon, he only had 300 of them, and they went in and beat a whole army with pots and pans because they made them start fighting each other. So what was coming onto them, we brought those curses onto us because we wanted to be like them. So the Most High said, you want to be like them? I will treat you like them. You want to be out in them streets? You're going to be out in them streets. And you're right. That's exactly where this is the result from. This is the result of our disobedience, and this dissension is why it's got to come to an end. Because we're waking out of our stupor. The 400 years is up, and it's time to wake up and realize that this is not the way to be.
Yep. I mean, and it is a bitter pill to swallow, but bro, Sean, I mean, as much as, you know, we don't, some of us may not like to hear it, but it is unfortunately where we're at this point. And we have, you know, we're acknowledging the blame, but at the same time, now that we know better, we're trying to do better and trying to be the example to change that, trajectory of our people. And we're trying to, you know, go in that direction. But for sure, yes, this is Jeremiah 17:4, yeah, that I'll make you lose your heritage and forget who you are. And you realize, really, once this conspiracy, this is one of the biggest conspiracies known to men, that what the Messiah looked like and, you know, who we are. Because if that truth came out to the masses, they would lose so much money. The other nations would lose so much money, you know, highlighting their vanity and whatever aesthetic of whatever the Messiah looked like, because it's all about the Renaissance and the changing of images and just painting the old world white when it wasn't. And then all this romanticism of their history when it was hijacked by them, when it was really our history. So it's a lot of things to unpack.
Yeah, it's a part of that colorism too, is they always show you, even in the TV shows, the dark-skinned dude was never the scientist. He was never the intelligent one. He was never, I remember as a kid, I used to lambast that because black folks were never shown as smart. We were always the comic relief and the idiot dumbness. I tried to go back and watch Rush Hour. You know, I found what's that channel that you watch all the free movies and stuff. I can't remember the name of it. It's not Timu. It starts with a T. It's a channel that lets you see all the free movies and stuff. And I went and I was like, oh, I remember Rush Hour 2. That used to be my favorite movie. I couldn't even get 10 minutes into that thing. It was just ridiculous how they were showing Chris Tucker was just running around being an idiot. Jackie Chan was poised and professional. Chris Tucker just running around being dumb and talking about, wait a minute, just an oversexed idiot running around in China. And I'm like, this is disgusting. This is what they showed us and what they thought of us back in the day. And we sat there laughing at this, paying our money to go watch them make clowns and fools of us.
Basically minstrel.
Tubi. Yes, Tubi. I was watching it on Tubi. On Tubi, and yeah, we became minstrels with that stuff, and that flows into what we saw. Because this is now where it was like, you know, the colorism even went, where it's like you would see a black person doing something that black people didn't know, or Hebrews didn't normally do, and then cats will come at you and like make fun of you about it. Oh, what you doing? You know, this and this and that. Oh, you know, when you were trying to be smart, because again, that didn't match the colorism scale. You weren't light enough to be smart. White man thing. You know?
Why are you trying to be white, Garth, using all those big words?
Exactly. you like to have a good claim of the language. Oh, why are you talking white? Like anything positive was turned into color white, but anything negative, oh, he was black. Like they did a number on us because we lost who we are. We think that all of these, they named these different mathematical functions after themselves, like the Pythagorean theorem. They call it after that white dude Pythagoras, the Greek. But actually, the Sumerians, the African melanated people, Sumerians, were using that theorem long before them jokers came out of their caves. Like, come on now. These math theorems that they've named after themselves, the Fibonacci sequence. Who's Fibonacci? Who are you? Why are you putting your name on a sequence that has been preceded you and has existed in African cultures long before y'all left your caves? Like, this is why they push this nonsense on us to try to make us look stupid. It is projection.
Well said. Well said.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a lot to take in, and again, I could just keep on going. I mean, me just being, I guess, you being able to use my words, and just being. Once you're intelligent, they say, "Oh, you're corny," or you have a certain type of outlook, or they think you are a sellout, or all this other nonsense that comes with it, and it's just disparaging being around your own people and them literally just denigrating themselves and you because they just were taught to.
Well, if you think about it, right, the whole strategy of denigrating and projecting a culture that is against the law, statutes, and commandments, right? It goes hand in hand, right? The goal is to get you to forget who you are, turn away from your culture, and practice my culture. In turn, leads you further and further away from the Most High. Right? So we embrace other cultures. We want to, some of us, not all of us, but some of us want to be what the other nations are. Those are just the facts. We want to be what some of the other nations are. So we adopt their culture. That's been an issue with Israelites from the beginning. We were giving a culture, we were given instructions, we were told, hey, as long as you follow my laws, statutes, and commandments and live how I instruct you to live, everything will be blessed. But if you do as those other nations do, if you adopt their culture, there's going to be problems. And if you go back from Genesis to Revelations, that's what we see throughout the scriptures.
Now that you say that, bro, Sean, you could really, because once I understood who we are, and then I started taking the Most High seriously, and you read the scriptures, and then you read the Apocrypha and all the books that are secret and are not part of the canon, and they say don't read them. You read them, and you read Maccabees and how heavily Hellenized we were, and how the Hellenization started at that period, where they had these different things like the Olympics, and then they had different events and things of that nature, where they started having brews that were Hellenized and started assimilating Greek culture. And then you see if you read Maccabees, you see the pushing and shove of our people, like Judah Maccabees and his son Simon and his son Jonathan, where they were fighting heavy to keep our culture, and some of them even died for it.
Yeah, Maccabees wasn't having that. They wanted to come in there with that, same thing like it is today. You got those of us that just want to embrace the weirdo culture that they have, because a lot of that stuff that they wanted to do, like the gymnasiums, we don't realize that the word gymnasium actually means the naked place. So when you see those vases of those men wrestling only with each other, they're in the naked place doing that. So let the fill in the blanks, and that's exactly what was going down, and that's what was happening, and that's what they were trying to bring into the land that the Most High gave us. And now you start to kind of understand why we are where we are, where we was trying to bring that kind of foolishness directly into the home of the Most High. And that's insane. You can't be blessed doing that. That's why we have this division now, because that's just like Brother Sean said, we brought it on ourselves. We came and sought after that crap. And now we're into this nonsense. It's like, this is what you desired. Okay, the Most High always talked about it like a marriage. This is why he had Gomer and Hosea do that thing that he had doing with them, to show like, hey, how Gomer is treating Hosea, him always having to go into the whorehouse and pull her out. That's what the Most High was doing with us. And finally, he just got to the point where he said, look, I'm the king. I ain't no simp. You want to be in the streets? I'm going to let you go out to the streets. Let the streets have it.
Oh, Brother Red, Did you just call us some prostitutes?
Man, look at here. We was out running the street. We was for the streets. We was for the streets.
But you know what? The truth is the truth, right? Right. It is what it is. Our ancestors played the harlot. Some of us, not all of us, continue to play the role of the harlot.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
The thing, I said this earlier in the week that we all know the history of our people, and we always were looking at different nations, like Red was saying. What's the brother name? Brother Sean.
Yes.
But the Most High was reaching out to Israel once Israel came into existence. I will give you this, I will give you that. You'll be known as this. You will not be the tail, you'll be the head. All of this he laid in our forefathers' lap. That's what he did. But he knew that these stiff-necked people, they're not going to listen. So I got to let these people go through generation after generation after generation after generation after generation in order for me to get to that particular group of people that I need to get to. And they're going to have to be a ripped apart people who don't have no heritage, who will be searching for something, but they don't know what they're looking for. Now, here we are. We done woke up. We're those people that Most High was looking for, that he literally molded us. And we woke up and we found out who we were. Now we starting to take on a whole different way of life. I mean, now, like Red, you was talking about Rush Hour 1, whatever. I know what you're saying. The only way you feel that way is because you woke up.
Yes.
Now you starting to seeing everything for what it is. I do the same thing. I was like, man, you mean to tell me I was laughing at this type of movie and that's what these people are doing? Yes, I know exactly how anybody that has literally woken up, when you start seeing movies, you starting to see movies in a different take. Like what's the old boy name? The one that do Transporter, Justin or Jason or somebody?
Jason Statham.
Now, if you notice if there's a black guy in there, the black guy got to be a big guy. He got to be. And he always holding some little white girl hostage. That's the one he gonna go out and mess up.
Yep. You always got to fight a big black dude. I used to love
always got it. Right. And I'm like, but then, back in the days, if we seen a black guy in a movie, we knew he gonna be the first one to die. We knew. But when we start waking up, now we starting to say, well, I'm going back to my culture. I know exactly where I belong now. And when you realize where you came from, you go back to it. And this is what the Most High was telling his people, Israel, before we were on that hiatus of stiff-neckedness. This is what he was telling us. But it took these thousands of years to get down to this class of people, this remnant. And now we starting to see the regret. We starting to feel the regret, the hurt, the dishonor that we brought about. We starting to see that. And we starting to understand how the Most High himself was the one that was hurt out of all of it. Because we wore his name. And we was wearing his name and we didn't even know it. Bro, please.
Now that you talk about it, movies, brother Mike, us wearing dresses, Big Mama's House. I can't watch that movie again.
Yeah, man, and now my conscience bothers me now because I know. But back in the days when we was not woke, it was the funniest thing you can ever put, that you could ever seen. Now we're looking at hold on. Now you starting to see things a whole lot different because we know that this stuff, even though we was in the dark, those people that own the movies, the music, They was not in the dark. They knew we need to keep these people in the dark. Put that dress on that Negro. You don't know.
And they
Put
always
that
show
dress
the
on
dark
that
skin.
Negro.
Always
Yes.
the dark skin brother. I just was thinking about it. Every dark skinned brother, it's always a dark skinned brother wearing the dresses. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart.
Yep. Majors. They had Majors wearing that little fruity thing. The dude that was in Lakeith Stanton, I think his last name. Yeah, from all those different movies. He was in this weird lingerie thing. You know, Martin wearing dresses multiple times. What's his name? From Pulp Fiction.
Ving
Rhames.
Oh, Ving Rhames. Oh my gosh.
Rhames.
Oh, that was ghastly.
Like they putting all the dark skinned brothers in dresses.
If you could get Ving Rhames in a dress, that is, I mean, geez, that's such a. I'm perturbed by that. You even brought that up because I don't know what movie it was, but I did see, because I didn't even know a movie existed where he literally played a whole woman or tried to be a woman.
It was him and another white dude.
I only knew Ving
dressed
Rhames.
up as women.
My point of reference for Ving Rhames was Baby Boy.
You know what? And see, this is the good thing. Now we reminiscing over the things we didn't have no business endorsing. Facts. We reminiscing because of that awakening that the Most High given us. He told us what was going to happen. He said he was going to awaken our people. Now, when you was back in Christianity, that didn't even faze you because you didn't know who you were. But when you come to find out you're the one that he's awakening, oh, you come out swinging. Just look at Red. You better not say anything that's slanted to Red. Oh, the Nephilims never existed. Oh man, please, you about to open up a world of science and scriptures. With Red, Uncle Red will lay it down for you. See, now that's when you look at a brother who's thoroughly woke. You just cannot sit up here and tell him anything any longer. And this is what the world is upset at. You can't tell these black people nothing no more. You can't. Y'all been lying for hundreds of years. Hundreds. It's like your nature to lie. And now we woke up. Their life is fading away. They're scared. They're scared. They're scared.
It's true.
Yep. Man, please.
They don't. It's like that old cartoon. There was a little cartoon panel from an old newspaper where it showed this old country white dude shot this black baby. And he was standing over the baby and said, "I had to do it, for you to grow it up, you'd have ruled over me."
Wait, what cartoon is that?
It was a cartoon panel from a newspaper from years ago. I had to look it up, and it was actually for a real thing. Where it was like a one panel, newspaper cartoon with this white dude holding a smoking gun standing over a black baby that he had just shot. And he said, "I had to do it, or else you'd have grown up and ruled over me."
Huh.
They know.
Who told them that?
Because they know. They know. That's why they ripped the books of Jasher out. Because when you read the book of Jasher, it's impossible to have colorism because you see how wonderful and amazing your ancestors were. And then you start to understand that when in Genesis, when the Most High told our forebear Abram that, hey, know for surety your seed is going to be in a land that's not theirs, and that it's going to take a while because the sins of the Amorites have not come to pass. And then you see in Jasher, the book that they pulled out for not being inspired, and you see that our patriarchs, the 12 patriarchs, was fighting multiple cities of Amorites that we made vassals out of Amorites. Do you understand that what we're dealing with these people is an ancient grudge?
Yep.
They are coming back to get revenge. They're getting their lick back. That's what this is. They're getting their lick back. This is why they're ruling over us in this violent and vile way, because we came in there and gave them the what for. If I had to put it in the Queen's voice, we gave them what for.
So eloquently put, yes. But And then you realize, oh, the Most High said to destroy these people, for lack of a
Mm.
better term. And then you realize, oh, our ancestors like, nah, they're cool. We could have a couple of them help us out. But you realize, oh no, these people are conspiring against us, and we were in the wrong. And it's kind of funny because you realize when you know this knowledge, they don't like you get an intense hatred from your own people. Not only them, it's like, hey, I'm trying to wake you up, but you're still asleep and you don't want this knowledge. But at the same time, you're like threatened by it, but you don't want to. You have so much pride and vanity that you don't want to admit, oh, I'm scared and I don't know how to accept all this. It's like, that's another problem. It's like the cognitive dissonance is so unbearable for some of our people that they just won't choose to do better or to take the truth in.
Well,
That's a good point.
on that, I mean, you got. I mean, I look at it like this, though. It is a blessing for us to be woke, and not everybody is going to be awakened at the same time. Because when they do awaken, they're going to be a measure of anger that they will have to get over. And so, just like with us, we was upset when we woke up. We was kind of upset. Why would they do this? Why would they do that? But then at the same time, you come back like Brother Sean said, hey, we gotta we gotta look at ourselves too now. Our forefathers did this nonsense. But I know what you're saying, because from what we see, you're like, why you can't see that who we are? Yeah, they still have that blinder on them, and it's not. I would say it's just not their time for them to wake up until the Most High says it's that time. Trust and believe. He's waking up individuals according to His will. Oh, that's what you're talking about, Red?
That was a cartoon. It didn't have the words underneath it on this one that I found, but this is the one that I was talking about. There's words actually underneath it that he says I had to do it because if you would have grown up, you'd have ruled over me. I'm gonna try to find the other one. It cut the link out when you tried to share it, brother Teo. I seen that you tried to put it in there, but YouTube don't let you share links, which is annoying. But I did find this is the part of that cartoon. There's words underneath it. If I find the one with words, I'll share that one. But this is what it is, where they had the big black baby down there, and there's a caption where he says, "I had to do it, or else you would have grown up to rule over me." It was in like a newspaper.
Here's a question: what has changed?
What you mean, brother?
You don't have to be killed physically. We're killed spiritually. Instead of quote unquote shooting the child, we just re-educate the child.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to follow what you're saying, Brother Sean.
In regards to the picture that Brother Red showed, right? It showed the guy standing over a child with a smoking gun and a knife. And the caption says,
It says, if I hadn't killed you, you would have grown up to rule over me. It's kind of small underneath there, but that's what it says.
So now, so instead of quote unquote killing us physically, it's mentally. Teach you to hate yourself, teach you to hate your culture. What do you have?
Teach you to hate yourself.
We also got some sisters that joined up in this.
Wow.
Sharice Reed and Iguana.
Wow.
What's that?
Shalom, sisters.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom to the brothers in the chat, to the chat online.
Wow, that's that picture is self-telling there. Wow.
They've known about who we were for a long time. This one here, was they basically talked about the Reconstruction, which is the what you call it, when the Republicans started kind of changing their Southern strategy and stuff like that, different
Right.
things, and that's around the time when this came out. But it just goes to show that they've known who we are, and they've implanted these seeds of colorism and many other things to cause the dissension among us. Because, you know, again, just like what Brother Sean said, we brought this on ourselves. And us going in and acting like Gentiles, well, the Most High hit us with his special weapon, dissension. But now we got to come up out of it. It's just like in the story of the prodigal son. Where was he at when he came to his realization? He was in the pigsty. He was in with the pigs and the filth. And then what happened? When he came home, his father had to get him a new coat and clean him up. That's where we're at. We were at that realization stage, like, yo, what in the world are we doing? Why are we in here with the pigs? And we're coming back home, and the father's having to give us a new coat and to take off that nonsense. And this colorism nonsense and this self-hatred is a part of it, because that's really what colorism is. It's self-hatred. It's a hatred of yourself. So you put down another one to be like, well, at least I'm not you, or at least I'm not you, to try to make yourself feel better, instead of realizing we all in it together.
Wow.
Up on the same cloth.
All in it together.
This reminds me of a video that I saw of one of the civil rights activists that were sitting at the counter after the success of their protest, and he sat down for the meal. And he said it was the nastiest thing that he had ever eaten, and wondered, questioning what was the struggle, or they fought all that fight to sit at the counter where the food is disgusting.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of the struggle that we go through. And once you come to the awakening and you taste the food that you've been fighting your whole life to have a seat at the table for, this is exactly what we've been jeopardizing our lives to break bread with these people that despise us so much. You have a taste of their cup and it is bitter, and you still aren't an equal in their sight or in the sight of the law. So all that struggle to assimilate and to have your content of your character judged based on what? Based on whose metrics? We have to take pride in ourselves and our institutions, all of our Major League Baseball and sports organizations. They would be nothing without the Black bodies that fill them. And we have this inferiority complex that makes us desire that which is not ours.
Where does that complex come from?
It's definitely something that we inherited going after the nations. We want a king, like the other nations have a king. We want to have a space at their table the way that they operate. They sit at a long table. Our circles of justice are in a circle, as opposed to looking at the head. We're supposed to look to each other, and we desire to model our culture in the ways that are contrary to the word and the laws of God. It's so insidious, and it's once you come to full knowledge of who you are and everything that has been presented to you, you become sick, physically sick. What is wrong with us that we are so inept and we have such void in our character and our social consciousness that we want to be like people, not only like people that oppress and subjugate and destroy, but people that hate us? Why would you want to emulate that? And we do a perfect job of emulating self-hatred.
I hear you, sis. That's a curse in and of itself. And that cup you're talking about could be summoned up into the American dream.
A nightmare. It's a dream because you got to be asleep to see it.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree.
It's all falsehoods and platitudes. You know, I see so many folks fighting for a place here. Oh, I want to fight to have some land here, or I'm buying a new house here, or I'm buying a new car, and I'm doing this stuff. And I'm like, it's why would if you were on the Titanic, why would you make your home on the Titanic? Why would you try to buy seats on the Titanic? Why would you try to buy cabin space on the Titanic when you know it's going to go down? But because you've
I'd be
been
looking for that
programmed,
escape ship.
exactly. You know, but we've been programmed. It's just like what the sister said. We've been
Mm-hmm.
programmed. There's a reason why when you have radio broadcasts and TV broadcasts, it's called programming. There's a reason why it's called a broadcast, because they're casting spells and programming you. See, we think that witchcraft is just, you know, cutting chicken bloods and, you know, dancing around and with bones and all that. No, witchcraft is honestly on the internet and in the computers, and even in a lot of our advertising. A lot of things that they advertise to you is to manipulate you and to show you that there's an inadequacy where there is none. This is why you have these folks, especially in the islands and in Africa, doing this lightning nonsense, because they want to show you that, oh, white is better. With white, you get more opportunity. Even in Asia, in Asians, they make them fix their eyes and change their features because they want them to emulate Anglo-Saxon features, because they are different from them. They always make them, the ones that are at the top, the ideal. So they shoot their programming out. When you see the hero, he's always white. When you see the beautiful woman, she's always, an Anglo-Saxon woman. When you see beauty standards, it's an Anglo-Saxon beauty standard with long, flowy, straight little length of hair with no kinks in it and blonde.
You can go ahead and say flat. You can go ahead and say flat, Red. We understand when you say flat. We understand.
Right. We got
Let's stick with flat. Or long back. Or very long back.
So, there you go.
I ain't even gone there. I was talking about the hair.
Oh, my bad.
I gotta keep. You know, I have to keep a modicum of. But you know, they push these features out there. That's why they had black women feeling like they was fat for their natural features. I remember dudes, oh, she's fat, and I'm like, white dudes would say that, and I'm looking, and I'm like, what's wrong? Like, and I said it to a white woman, like, and I'm looking at the white woman, and I'm like, she's not fat, she's built like a black woman. Like, what makes her fat? Well, she got hips. Like, okay, she's fat. Like, you know, they push this nonsense onto us incessantly. We were under barrage since we were born from magazines. You go into the magazines, all you see is Anglo-Saxon men and women on the cover. Anytime, like, I did not see black superheroes until I was an adult. This is why Static Shock as a young kid was like great to us.
Oh yeah,
finally seen
I remember Static
black
Shock.
Hero who wasn't trash, right?
Yeah, I remember Static Shock too.
Famous Jet Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Jet Jackson. Yeah.
Because they weren't like the trash. We finally saw somebody, man, you didn't get to die first. You know, in the movie where the black dude even lived to the end, it was like, oh my goodness, this is great.
And when they brought out Blade and Spawn, you know, Spawn, you know, he was a demon.
Right.
But they portrayed him as a hero, and you know,
he was
a black brother played him. And then, say it again for me.
He was a hell spawn. He came out of hell. He had like, I think the Satan had used his soul to basically become like his hell spawn. So yeah, he was like straight out of he was a warrior for Satan.
Always equating us to demons, and the demons was trying to get away from their image. And we need to put these Negroes in our position. And that's what they did over the hundreds of years. They put us in their position and the world fell for it. Now we waking up, now they upset. Why are you upset? Because we woke. We ain't touch you. We not once said anything a lie towards you. It was truth. Your history proves truth. And I mean, man, we can go down so many different roads with that. It is absolutely unbelievable.
I'm about to ask a really very heavy question. Has anyone?
Oh, come on with it, God.
Has anyone at any point ever wished they were white? Because I did when I was younger.
When I was a kid in elementary school, yeah.
When I was ignorant, not saying I wish I was white. I wouldn't like. I was in the second grade, and my first black teacher I was in the fourth grade. And when I got that first black teacher, that's when I started seeing things differently. Then my fifth grade, she was a black lady. I mean, when she was a soulful, because she had an afro. She never perm. Well, now I ain't gonna say perm. She never straighten out her hair. Never did. And that's when my blackness started to really come in, and things of that nature. And but yeah, and just like any other child, I was kind of misguided because of what we was things we was going through. I mean, I'm living in a project, nothing but blacks. We ain't have not one white person there, not even a Mexican. No, it was everybody was there was Negro.
I was the only black chickpea in the bowl full of the other peas. So, I mean, I was one of the few black people who went to this school in elementary school. There was a few of us, but you know how they always did. Well, I could only speak from my experience with the few black kids that were in the class. The kids would always pit us against each other or say, oh, just because there was another black girl in the class. Oh, Garth, do you like her? Are you guys boyfriend and girlfriend? And all this stoking of all this, like, they just like wanted us to go at each other, and I'm just remembering it. And now that you say it, the first black teacher I remember had my government, and they was like, "Garth, is that your mom?" I'm like, "No, that's not my mom." And and then they would ask you, "Oh, you celebrate Kwanzaa?" Like,
oh boy.
And then the only other one I remember as young as like 10 being called the N-word. So yeah, at one point I did wish I was white. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I wanted to address kind of this one here. I know of all those heroes, but what you have to understand is when it came to black heroes, that's literally all you have. Like I used to be a fan of like X-Men and science fiction was like my heavy thing, and there were no intelligent black men. The reason why I love Star Wars Deep Space Nine is my favorite because it was the only one with a Hebrew that was there. And then what was so disrespectful is he was the only captain that didn't start the series as a captain. Start the series as a whole captain. He started off as he was a lower rank. I can't remember the rank he was before, but he didn't start off as captain. And then when he became captain, they gave him captain over the Deep Space Nine, which was some remote out of the way space station.
Wasn't Rogue black? Then they made her white, and then they made her black again, or something.
No, she was always white.
Not Rogue. Storm.
Yeah,
Storm. Now Storm, she was African. Yep. Storm, she was African.
Yes, she is. Or Roro, that was her name.
She was from Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's always catch-22 with our heroes, though. Like we are not allowed to have our characters evolve or have a next phase, especially like with Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther. Something that always stuck with me was I grew up watching Marvel and DC on the cartoons, and even when they had the live adaptations come out, and there was always a new Superman. Chris Reeves, Dean Cain. There were so many modern revivals. But with our heroes, you had your one black character that was, you knew that character by their real life name. And once that character ceased to exist in that cinematic world, it was either revamped with somebody else, like they changed the race. I'm thinking even like when they did Fantastic Four and Michael B. Jordan took on that role after he was done. They changed it again. And we never have an opportunity to see the development and growth in our characters. And we are typecasted, usually relegated to the actor that originally played that role. And we are never able to see what happens after Chadwick Boseman dies in Wakanda. Why aren't we ever able to see what happens when Wakanda opens up to the rest of the world? I just think that the programming is so insidious that when the hero dies, that is the end of the narrative.
It's so true. It's absolutely true.
I apologize for cutting you off, my brother, but I'll say this. The more you think about it, right? Think about what the sister just said. It makes us want to imagine think about idols, superheroes. We have real life superheroes: Moses, Aaron, Jeremiah, David, Solomon, all the prophets.
Amen.
Facts.
We have that, and I think we should teach our children that. Hey, so what? They have Superman on TV, Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. All those are idols. At the end of the day, they are all idols. And I think the hardest part that we wrestle with daily is walking away from our childhood idols. That's the walk.
That is
the walk.
That is very true.
Superman doesn't compare to Moses. Superman doesn't compare to Jeremiah or Obadiah. He doesn't compare to none of those, to any of the prophets.
Yeah, the problem is we thought they all were white.
Yep. Looking like Charlton Heston.
Yeah, you know? And, you know, it's interesting y'all talking about this because, like, last night I posted on my Facebook wall, I said, don't be upset because they call you a hater because you call out at people who want you dead. And so, you know, I realized, you know, like, you know, I've been working on my book trying to get it out. Man, these people are systematic. They are organized. They are, you know, like this whole Freemasonic thing of handing down the secret knowledge is all to oppress us and continue to oppress us. I'm like, that's why I said, don't be upset because you're upset because you know these people trying to take you out. And because they are. Right. And it is all of this Western Roman Empire people along with the Muslims. Right. These people hate us. Right. And so when you realize that, yeah, they are trying to make you what's the best word? LGBT, ABCDEFG. They're trying to make you that way. Right. And they trying to destroy your families, obviously kicking the father out of the household. Right. And changing the image of what they call the black man who the Israelites. I'm like, I'm gonna tell y'all, you know, we are at war. You know, it's like people say that, like some have said, we were in the transatlantic world war. I mean, that's literally the case. We just didn't know it, right? And from generation to generation to generation, these people have targeted us, enslaved us, and like Red said about the image of, you know, the white man bending over, said, you know, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have killed you, but you would have ended up ruling over me. They think that way because they know who we are. I mean, this is literally the case. And, you know, if anybody try to make you feel bad because you feel some kind of way because these people hate you, no, they do hate you.
And that hate is a biblical hate from cradle to the grave.
I just have to say, is this the first time that Yakoba's been on Question Night Africa discussions? Is this a milestone that we've reached?
Look, I barely make it up for Covenant of Awakening. I woke up just in time for this. I'm like, y'all be too early for me.
No, that's why they pulled the Book of Jasher out, because when you realize that who our patriarchs, 12 patriarchs, was fighting was the same people that we're dealing with, you realize this is an ancient hatred. And then Brother Sean was absolutely correct. We have our own superheroes. Man, when you read in Jasher about how Yehuda was up there yelling, Yehuda was up there yelling at everybody, how this Joker had them shaking in fear because he was so strong, he didn't even need no weapon target. He had lost his sword, so he picked up a rock and slung the rock at one of the captains that was coming to him. He hit the dude so hard, he fell on the ground and couldn't get up. While the king, actually it was a king, I'm sorry. While the king was down, his captains came to try to defend him. Yehuda single-handedly whooped all the captains, then came back and beat the king. He beat the king and all his captains, which are the strongest men, by himself with a rock.
Yeah, but we thought they were white.
Exactly.
That's why we couldn't identify with them. You know, it's the people in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, you know, when you look at it, you know, oh, look at these heroes. You know, they're all white, just like Superman and Aquaman and all that stuff. Right? Everybody white. Then you find out, guess what? Everybody black. Then you find out that we invented everything. But then they're gonna call you racist because you being divisive. Oh, call me divisive.
Amen. We have
Big facts. Big facts. It was that's absolutely facts, because that's why they painted everything white, so we would lose our heritage. So whenever you think of Moses, you think of Charlton Heston up there with that fake beard on. Talking all dramatically. These 10 commandments.
Yeah, while he's supposed to be burning in the sun, but he ain't burning.
Ain't got no tan on them whatsoever.
Yep.
You know, they did it with not just us, they even did it with other cultures. Because if you look back at some of the old Westerns, they would have white folks playing Native Americans.
Yeah.
Reach for the sky program. Reach for the sky.
Even the whole cowboy thing. Cowboys was us.
I had to learn that too. I had to learn that we were cowboys.
I never knew it. I always thought they were white boys, but then they called them boys. Hey, boy. And they were boys who handled the cows.
Exactly. The dress, the aesthetic, all of that. The Lone Ranger, that's based on what was his name? Bass something.
Yeah.
And he was the actual inspiration for the Lone Ranger. Because that brother
Bass Reeves.
Bass Reeves.
Yeah, that's
Bass Reeves. He was the truth. Bass Reeves is the absolute truth, but they retell our stories. Everything that they have is really a retelling of us.
Facts.
The sword and the stone, that's Moses.
Look at the breakdancing at the Olympics. It's white now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no.
That's a perfect example of a culture appropriation.
We do not talk about the body gyrations that happen at the Olympics, not here on Q2UA.
Breakdance gate.
Man, look, you got brothers in the Bronx that can throw circles around that type of stuff, and they got this chick up there at the highest level of the Olympics doing the dead roach on stage.
Doing a kangaroo bunny hop.
You know, everything.
I remember that. I remember that.
They rob everything. They just take it and they put it, they color on it. The sword and the stone. That was the story of Moses when Laban had the staff in the backyard. The staff was the Most High. They steal so much stuff from us.
But Red, they're gonna tell you you're paranoid and you're racist and you're all about color.
It's so hilarious because they say it's all about color, yet everything is always centered around them and their color. So it's not color when it's for them, but whenever we come and try to set the record straight, it's all of a sudden it's colorism.
Exactly.
Really?
And what's that thing they always use, bro? Red. We was Kangs to try try to gaslight us, but yeah, we were, and you guys weren't. And it's like you're in your feelings, but you realize and you see how crazy the Renaissance was, and how they literally changed so much history in that one period, and they needed to do it. They needed to scatter us and separate us to do that very thing.
Exactly.
Well, they had their shot. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, does that not tell you how dangerous we are? They put so much resources and effort to keep us divided and to hide who we are and our history. Do you not know how dangerous we are? Obviously, we are dangerous because we can fight, we can run, we can jump, and we're smarter than heck, right? We are dangerous. We know we dangerous.
Yes.
I'll say this,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll say this, Jacoba. For people that has no quote unquote governing power, the fact that we as a people, whole as a people, can influence other cultures, I think that's the biggest obstacle. It's the fact that we can influence other nations to adapt to what they think are our culture. So if we have that same mindset, right, instead of the men wearing dresses and being members of confused communities, if we just turn back to the culture of the Most High, I think that's the biggest fear, because the other nations adopt our culture.
That's right.
Look around the world. Rap music, breakdancing, beauty standards. It's our culture.
Taking showers.
Taking showers regularly.
Regularly. He went there. You went there.
Hey, look, man, they be on the internet telling on themselves like this. I thought everybody took showers, so I went on the internet and started seeing this rash of non-melanated men and women like being baffled at the fact that you wash your legs and you wash your feet and you take baths every day, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing that for? Oh, you just take bath when the dirt comes up." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, they like, oh, I just take the soap. I'm like, you ever heard of exfoliation? You have to like scrape the layers of dirt off your skin with like something, I don't know. It's I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt, Brother Guard. But if we knew who we were, we would not be interfacing with them, if you know what I'm saying, because we are royalty. Look, literally, when you figure this out, right, and all of the gifts we have, and it's like you all were saying, like when Jacob was serving Laban, so long as Jacob was there, Laban was blessed. That's what they got. Wherever we are, it is a what they call a first world nation. Right, where because they control us. It's like they're milking a cow, right? So long as they got that cow, they keep getting the resources and everything from us, right? Same thing with the continent. They get all the resources from the continent. They need us. Without us, they don't exist.
Yes.
Yep, it's true.
This is facts. I mean, there's a reason why you had these billionaires going after all these Hebrew women. And they said it out of their own mouth that Hebrew women are the only ones, melanated women, actually, I'll say, because it's really all the original human women. That's why they're melanated. And they're the only ones that have the genetic stuff that they need. They was up there offering them women $100,000 for their eggs, and they wanted to offer them money for their period that runoff and all sorts of stuff that had their DNA. Anything that they had, they wanted to scrape it out of the women because they said it may be trash for you, but life saving for someone else. What this isn't something that's just made up. There was a bunch of doctors that did a genetic study. And this is a study you can go look up where they did a measure of all the genetic alleles of all the different nationalities in the world and found out that people of African origin have the most. And alleles basically means that your potential for intelligence, your potential for genetic diversity, basically is all built into your genetic potential. We have the most and the most varied, and non-melanated, non-African people are more samey and have the least.
Yeah, I think you talk about this DNA series. I think we have like 9 and the rest of the world, I mean, like 6. But then it just kept going lower and lower.
Yeah. And why you think they wanted to dilute us all the time? Go to Brazil, they bring all the Europeans over there, the white people out. Same thing in Australia, the white people out, right? They want to bring everybody down to the same. They want us equal. You know why? Because we're kings and priests, literally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about it. And then it's the fear. It's the fear that's eating them alive. That fear. It's like these Negroes, you can't tell them nothing no more. And that's a reality. You can't. We know it. We even know you. We know how you act. We know how you get down. They had us here for 400 years. Still have not been able to really put their finger on it. They still can't. We have a fear. We if this world go on, we go be the Gentiles or non-existent.
Yep.
This is their fear, and I mean, and for us to have black men and black women on this channel and other channels. Man, one day they gonna get upset. They go like, look here, just send these Negroes back home. Send them back home.
Please and thank you.
They don't want to send us home, and they will never allow us to go home. You know why? Because he who controls the spice controls the universe. Because they control the resources on our continent, right? They know that wherever we are, right? Like I said, with Laban, right? When Jacob was, he was blessed, right? They know that if we come home, we're gonna rule. They look, that's why Ibrahim Traore, he need to make sure he got his head on a swivel 24/7 because
Oh yeah.
they're not gonna let that land go ever.
No. I mean, 'cause that man there, bro, that man, he is sparking his spark is sparking other leaders. And from what we know and from their history, they always took brothers out that came with any type of speech of unity. They always took them out, always. But now that those curses are on them, they don't have the power to do it. Then now they got to find other means. Back in the day, they used to get another African to kill enough, to take out another African. It's not that easy no more. No, it's not that easy any longer. Because now what? Judah is awoke. And the little small remnant that's awoke, just this little small group of Negroes that are woke, I ain't gonna say causing trouble, but really got people to thinking, wait a minute, this brother got a point here. I mean, Deuteronomy chapter 28, that do sound like my forefathers. And that's all you need is that spark. That's all we need is that spark. Man.
Y'all remember where we first came from back in 2016, and there was just a few of us out there. Now look where the community at. They can't stop this thing.
Yep.
No, they can't. No.
And now that you say that, shameless plug, everyone tune in to my show at 10 a.m. Exploring the Motherland, where I'll be talking about news in Africa. Brother Yakoba, things are changing. I mean, if I've been looking at the news in Kenya, Ruto is literally on the precipice of like getting kicked out. If that government is in upheaval.
Really?
Yep. Nigeria, that president is looking crazy. He's trying to meet with China. The African Chinese summit is next month, and they're trying to the Nigerian president is trying to get funding for the economy because it's already tanking. But it's funny, China was already their lenders, but he's going back to China to get more funding at the same time.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I saw he was trying to get his plane back too, right?
Yep, the plane as well. It's a $100 million plane while everyone is living in squalor and they can't pay for their electricity and everything is going up. And then in Burkina Faso, they're continuing to take control of their resources. Niger is also taking control of its resources. They have decided to kick out the French in one of the biggest mines for uranium. So a lot of things are happening. This cultural shift is happening. It's bound to happen and it's bound to spread. Uganda as well. Museveni, he's trying to shut down people from protesting. While in Uganda recently, you see that they had a huge landfill disaster where displaced and made 1,000 people homeless, and like 30 people are dead and still missing or haven't been found. So you just see all this incompetency going on. And now that we have social media and, for lack of a better term, what do they call it? Gen Z is more active in trying to spread the word. And, people are just tired. And I mean, the Nigerians understand, how can we be one of the most oil-rich countries and not even be able to partake in that or even have access to our own resources? It's like, enough is enough.
Yeah, we're taking it back.
It's like they realized they got the short end of the deal when they made those agreements hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening now. I mean, I think Most High said he was going to get rid of those rulers and things of that nature, and he was going to put his people in charge. And I think that's what's happening right now. I think we are on the move for what's the word? A reorganization of the political parties, reorganization just on that continent as to different rulers. There's a very serious change that they are embarking on and that they're scared of. But the thing I'm still looking at though, I'm looking at the United Nations being in Kenya. That's the thing that just like stuck in my side. You know, I mean, why did they leave the United States and go plant your foot in Africa?
I think it relates to what brother. I think it relates to what brother Jacobo was saying. He who controls the spices controls the universe.
Well, we need to get that UN out of there then, because we don't need them controlling no spices. You know, they spices tend to get a little colory into it. You know, alphabets.
We shouldn't be.
Go ahead, Red.
We shouldn't be surprised by this because we were told in Revelations that the dragon was going to sit outside and wait for the woman to give birth. So we already know that they trying to put their plans into place, but you know they playing against the expert strategists and the Most High. You already see their plans are going to turn it upside down and against them. So they sitting here to try to make plans and trying to do things. They trying to ruin Africa with this cultural nonsense, bringing colorism and bringing this dependency upon the colonizers over there and trying to push it into overdrive. But it's all coming to an end. It's just as that crap that they're trying to push over. I mean, I'm just noticing a heavy push for their culture over in Africa. Really, especially in the past 5 and 6 years, they've been going hard in Africa. But it's starting to be unraveled by the fact that, we waking up and we coming over there. And, just from a few folks that I've heard talking to different people in Africa, just from the, Q2UA, from the folks that we have over there, man, these folks is learning. They getting educated because they have kept them in the dark so that they can come over there and bring the nonsense. But now that we're waking up and we're coming with the truth, this is just like what Brother Jacob said. We coming over there and telling them, setting everything straight, and they want to keep us from over there because they don't want us to get in control of that spice.
Yeah, here's the thing. What did Esau lose?
His birthright.
His inheritance, his birthright, right? Now, Esther, I think it's Esther or Ezra. I forgot which one it is. But anyway, it says that don't give your sons to their daughters and your daughters to their sons, so that you can keep the inheritance, right? What's the inheritance? It's always been land, right? So this is what the fight been for all the time. It's been the continent. We didn't know it, right? This is why they had to move us far away from our land. It has always been the land. It has always been a fight, and it is today. And guess what? We are the inheritors of that. That's why they don't want us back. And that's why when we come back, we get our inheritance back and we rule and reign. I'm telling you, this thing gonna get serious. These people are not gonna let us go back without a fight.
Tis true.
I agree. When you get your golden goose, don't let it go free. Easy.
That's why they promote the best and the brightest on the continent to leave the country. They go and get educated in the West. They go and they start their families in the West, and they're giving up essentially their inheritance to the property.
That's a good point, sister. That's what I've seen, that they've literally taken all our smart, bright African brothers and sisters and have brought them to different Western lands. I mean, I'm a product of that. My parents are from the Caribbean. They were born in the Caribbean. They moved here to America. I was born in America, so I'm American. But I mean, I just seen it in my own family where they just have us, they cut off the resources and they take them away from us, and then we have to, for lack of a better term, take the king's meat in order to live, or whatever, or that cup that you were talking about earlier. We have to bear that cup in order to to get whatever decency of life or whatever living standard that we think we need.
It's true.
100%.
Yeah, it's been an insidious, a really insidious level of mind control that we have been exposed to. You know, our just the nature of advertising in the West is just seeped in witchcraft and mind control. When they test these different people by sending them into grocery store reenactment places. They measure your heart rate, what you look at. They measure all these different things, and they position stuff to manipulate it so that it will affect you subconsciously. From the smell, like when you walk into McDonald's and the cleaning solution that you smell, they've studied the smell in labs to find the ones that induce hunger and make people happy and want to buy stuff. And so they've studied this and done this, and they're using these things against our knowledge. And this is what they've done even with us with culture. Culture is a very powerful thing. And when we really honestly, we got to gatekeep our culture. That's just what it is. We got to stop talking about who's coming to the cookout and all this nonsense. No. If you're not blood, if you're not family, you're not coming in like that. We not, we can't, we have to. We have to maintain us because as we allow these folks to come in, those who have younger kids will notice that now the anime and stuff is like super popular. Man, you got these kids out here, they doing stuff that most of the time the parents don't even understand what the kids are talking about. And now this Asian culture and all the foulness that comes along with it is now seeped into our culture. There are things that I'm seeing now that used to be just little corner stuff on the internet that's front and center because now the culture has made it okay for these things to come in. So it's a sick game that they've been playing with us, that they've been manipulating us without our knowledge. Sometimes the things that we think are us, things that we've taken on and allowed to attach to our souls are not us. These are not ideas that were given to us. When we're born, we're like an empty slate program. As a child in the first 7 years of life is basically assimilating all the knowledge to understand how he should act in the society that he is in. And when those first 7 years, they're already giving you cartoons laced with nonsense. Is it any wonder we be sitting here talking about each other in disparaging remarks?
Mm-hmm. You said it.
We have to gatekeep.
You said it.
Culture. But I think Brother Garth has we're starting at 10.
Yeah, so I was gonna let Brother Eric say something because he has something good to say, and my show is at 10 o'clock, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. We've been here for 2 hours. I mean, I'm sorry to spoil the colorism party in my Forrest Gump voice, but go ahead, Brother Eric.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hear me now.
Yakoba
Yes,
mentioned. I just want to run this thing by. Remember when Rebecca prayed to the Most High and asked why she was struggling, why she was feeling the way she was feeling? Now, just follow me. Just follow me. You don't have to agree with me. They struggled in the womb, right? The older shall serve the younger. One shall be stronger than the other. Who's stronger than who? Are we not stronger than them folks? That fool Esau was getting his ass whooped in the womb. That's why he wanted to get out the womb, because that ninja was going to kill him. Esau is diminished. He's finished. We are done with Esau. We are done with these Edomites. We're not giving them the attention that they need so much to exist. They can steal what they want. They can take what they want. It's all going to be given back to us. 30, 60, 100-fold. Don't waste our energy and time even talking about these people anymore. Their kingdom and their empire is done. It just hasn't manifested fully yet. And my thing is always us taking care of us and loving us. Yeah, they did a whole lot of stuff. And trust me, they're going to pay for every little thing they did. Every little thing they did to us, they're going to pay for. Anyway, blessings to you guys. I just want to drop that in your spirit. They always seem to think that Esau was stronger and had, I mean, he was more animalistic and bloodthirsty, but he was never stronger than us.
Yeah, he's more evil for real.
Exactly.
He was deceitful. That's what it was. He was deceitful.
Yes.
In Jasher, it describes him as a deigning man. He was put on pretenses with people to garner favor, and we see that still right now to this day.
Absolutely. And Jacob was never afraid of Esau. People seem to think that no, he was afraid of this. He was afraid of having to kill Esau and going against the Most High. That's what he was afraid of.
Yep.
He was never afraid of Esau. So anyway, I just wanted to drop that in y'all spirit. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Blessings.
Right, thanks a lot, brother Eric.
And I'm gonna go too. I know God got to do his show. Good breaking bread with y'all. Peace out.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jacob.
Thank you so much for the panel for allowing me to speak. To everyone in the chat and on the panel, have a great day.
You too.
I want to give my shout out. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. And long live the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Yeshua HaMashiach. I appreciate you guys letting me on the panel. May everyone have a blessed day and a great Sabbath.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Okay, I guess I'll head out too as well. I appreciate being up here. I didn't get a chance to say what I wanted to say because I came in and piggybacked off of I wanted to piggyback off on earlier when you guys were talking about the light skin versus the brown skin, dark skin. But my it was just real quick. There's in Dixon, Illinois here. Talk about a sundown town. Dixon, Illinois is where Ronald Reagan was born and raised.
They
And
work out there, boy. I feel so naked out there, man. It wasn't even funny. I was like, I'm the only black guy here.
I know you do. I bet. I bet. Woo! And we used to go there. We didn't go there often, but we used to go there to Dixon, Illinois. We were visiting, and every time we would go there on the ramp before you enter into that town, on the ramp, my husband and I would switch places. He was always driving. He always drove. We had to switch places. I had to drive into the town, and whatever we were doing in the town, I had to drive because the first 2 times we went there, he got pulled over every single time. For no apparent reason. He just got pulled over. It's just DWB, driving while black. That's it. In Dixon, Illinois, and because I'm lighter, I had to.
Hello? I mean, she fell off.
Okay, am I here now? I'm sorry.
Yeah, here.
Okay, we lost connection. I'm sorry. And the other thing was they were so behind times in Dixon, Illinois, that we used to drive my mother's car into Dixon. My mother had this little bitty Nissan Sentra. It was a bright red, and she thought it was really cute to put air freshener in the back window, but the air freshener was in the shape of a crown, a red and gold crown. And she had vanity plates. And do you know she just had her last name. It was just my mother's last name on the vanity plates. That's it. And do you know we got a ticket for just having those vanity plates and for having that crown in the window? Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Because they never seen anything like that. And we black driving, so something got to be wrong. We got to be gang related or something. So yeah, it's that colorism is real and alive to this day. I really enjoy being on with you guys. Shabbat shalom. Be well, family. Be well.
Thank you, sister.
Well, I said what I had to say. So let's Mr. Orange
Mane.
The Orange Mane, the Florida Orange Mane. This has been a great discussion, a great topic. Thank you, Brother Red and Brother Garth, for narrating this. This is definitely awesome. This is the type of content that we provide on Quest to Unite Africa's channel. Look, this is a channel for us to talk about the things that we're going through. This is what we are are here for, not just in the diaspora, but also on the continent. We have to be able to really engage in these types of conversations because we have to be able to understand one another. And this just shows you a little bit of the back, you know, wheelings and dealings that we have to do to engage with one another. Contracts aren't just here. Here's a formal thing you put it in your face, you get it signed, you know, and we're off to the races. Nope, it's not that easy. There's always something underlying because we're learning how to move together. We're learning how to understand one another. And this is how we build. One discussion at a time. For real. That's it. So without further ado, all right, everybody have a great Shabbat Shalom, and we'll be seeing Brother Garth in a few. All right, Shalom, everyone.
All right. Shalom, everyone, and be on the lookout for Exploring the Motherland in 15 minutes, same channel. And I will close this out in Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Everybody have a blessed day.